This motherfucker been broke up since he got drafted. All right. He got on the CD Lamb jersey today, number 88.
Mm-hmm.
What you think's gonna happen? He gonna get broke the fuck up.
He's gonna catch touchdowns.
Oh god.
I'm sorry.
All right.
He's just as good, if not better, than Claypool.
No.
Sorry, not sorry.
Chase Claypool is way better than CD Lamb right now.
No.
Okay.
Even if you only go by the pure fact that he only has Ben Roethlisberger to throw the ball to him. A waste.
I mean, if he's, wide receivers in Dallas Cowboys have a history of cocaine, so if CD can get some coke.
They haven't had a history of cocaine problems since they've had a Super Bowl trophy problem.
That you know
It's a long-ass time.
So bring the cocaine back?
If the shoe fits. I don't know if that works there.
It's football, so
It does not.
It's the glove in this situation. If the glove fits. Oof. Hope they get that joke. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Here, I want to thank our boys, should we say, my man Matt Wigopolsky, AJ Bunk, and of course the man known as Baldini, aka T West. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here tonight. We appreciate it.
All production value. We appreciate it, absolutely.
Gentlemen to my left, to my right here, I should say, Mr. Sean Mulcahy.
Yeah.
Mac Daddy.
Shooter Mac Caddy.
All right. And did I introduce myself? Well,
no, this guy to the left is Duval Branch.
Doobie Branch, if you may.
If
you're feeling sexy, it's Doobie Branch.
I'm white, so I don't call people by their nicknames. It's just a thing.
I feel you. So, like I said, man, welcome back. And right on time, as we had the NFL draft this past Thursday.
Started this past Thursday.
Pardon me. Yeah, it started actually, yeah.
Breaking the wall a little bit, but here we are. The draft just ended. Mr. Oh, what's the last guy drafted called?
Who? Mr. Irrelevant?
Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, it was like pick like 299 or some shit.
To the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
I mean.
Who was it? It was irrelevant.
Nobody. Exactly. Completely irrelevant.
So let's talk about a relevant guy. Obviously the guy that went number one who we knew.
Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, yes, out of Clemson. This is the first time since Troy Aikman and Jimmy Johnson teamed up out of college. The first time a quarterback and coach has teamed up out of college. Trevor Lawrence with Urban Meyer down in Jacksonville. It's the first time we've seen that.
I did not know that.
And so, people are saying, does that speak a lot of greatness into existence? I say, let's see what happens season one. Because Aikman and Jimmy Johnson didn't really have a good season one. It kicked up probably, 2 seasons later?
Yeah, when they drafted all those future Hall of Famers.
Right. They had Aikman, but, like I said, you needed the cocaine guy and Emmett.
Man, they weren't doing coke till like 3 years later, but
it's all right.
I digress. I mean, as far as history goes and giving it some sort of base, I would give it a little more if it wasn't the Jags.
Yeah, that's my whole thing.
Any other team, I'd be like, if it was the Niners, the Falcons, but it's the Jags.
I mean, I'm rooting for them that they do well because I am a fan of the Khan family as far as, what they do with AEW. We'll get there. But, obviously the Khan family owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, you kind of want to see them do good in that aspect because you're a fan of the family. But also, I think it's time that Jacksonville's had their day. Every dog has his day, like they always say. So, let's see. Like I said, season one. Let's see what happens. But I am confident that Trevor Lawrence will be a pretty decent quarterback in the NFL. It may take him a season or two to really get adjusted to it because you got to understand, he had an incredible offensive line in college and weapons all over the fucking place.
From what I saw, and I only saw a little bit of it.
Right. So, he was the successor to Deshaun Watson and, shit like that. And I forget who else was there prior to that. But he's came out of a very good system. So, transitioning that with a great coach like Urban Meyer down in Jacksonville with that supporting cast of players, I think he's going to be all right.
Not to mention, it's extremely beneficial that how many new quarterbacks are going to be playing and starting this year. And to come out as a first-round pick and to start is one thing when there's established starters for every team.
Exactly.
But this year, it's
open season.
5 to 10 teams that have established guys that know the playbook, know the schemes. It's going to be so much fun to watch.
Like our next guy, who's stepping in week 1. They don't draft you number 2 to sit out a little bit.
Oh, the Jets taking Zach Wilson?
Yes, out of BYU.
Trying to fix the whole Sam Darnold fiasco.
Yeah, which that situation in New York, obviously everybody knows it wasn't his fault.
I think he gets
3 offensive coordinators the whole time.
People are just being nice to him. I think it wasn't his fault. I mean, he got mono. That was his fault.
Yeah, stop kissing girls and.
There are things that you can
all over the place. You in college, just making out at parties and shit, drunk. Come on, bro.
I have heard a lot of people say they liked him. That's all people keep saying. He's a nice guy. This, that, blah, 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 and the other thing.
Yeah, win some games.
Exactly. Let's see what he can do.
If he can win some games down, if he can go down to Carolina and win some games, I think that'll shut up a lot of critics. But he's got to consistently do it. He can't go down there and be Jake Delhomme 2.0.
No.
You know what I mean?
Nobody wants to say. I mean, Delhomme went to a Super Bowl, but still.
Yeah, Darnold could go too and get crushed, just like Delhomme did.
It's all about the supporting cast, and I didn't see Carolina do too much to show me that they're going to protect him any better than the Jets did. So,
well, they got McCaffrey down there, so as long as he can dump that ball out of the backfield and get that momentum going that way, you know what I mean? And he's got some receivers there with the guy on the outside, Robbie Anderson, and they got the kid they drafted, number 12. I can't think of his name right now. Oh my goodness!
I can never help you with that.
He was like he was like Steve Smith's successor, but he's a good guy anyways. Number 3, which was a quarterback that was taken by the San Francisco 49ers. A lot of people were very skeptical because of his lack of film. Pretty much, he hasn't really played a lot of college games. Very young, so people are very skeptical. But I think he's going to be all right. Trey Lance,
Notre Dame,
out of North Dakota State.
North Dakota.
Yeah. Same, and it's ironic that he. Went in the top 5 because also another quarterback out of North Dakota, like we talked about, was Carson Wentz out of North Dakota State. So
the whole time watching the draft, all I can think, everybody's compared to somebody else, and it's the only downfall of the whole thing. Well, I know you got to compare to somebody.
They compared this kid to a young Donovan McNabb.
What is that? A young Donovan McNabb.
He was good in the Eagles' first few years in the league.
I'm just saying, like,
he's a borderline Hall of Famer.
But when you make comparisons like that, like, how is he a young Donovan McNabb? Did he have the same offensive line as Donovan McNabb?
I guess they're saying. I guess they go by.
It's just a rough comparison. I understand.
They go by throwing mechanics, stuff like that. How he looks in the pocket, how he steps up, and everything like that.
Perfect. Yeah, people a lot of comparisons to the Dak Prescotts and the.
But everybody thought they were going with Mac Jones there, and I kind of called it. I was calling the draft all night, basically.
I was watching it with you live, and some of it was stuff that was like, okay, it's been talked about in the media so much that there's no way you can get it wrong. But other stuff, it's just like, dude, is this on a fucking delay? Like, could you stop calling your shot every fucking 2 seconds?
I just look at it from the GM's eyes is what I'm going with. And at that number 3 pick, I look at...
Man, if you look at it from the GM eye, you need to be doing it better than them.
I said Trey Lance. I said, go for it. The fuck you got to lose?
The Niners themselves argued about that pick.
You spent $100 million on Jimmy Garoppolo. Where'd that get you? All he did was fuck porn stars and throw interceptions and stay hurt.
I like that 4th pick, though. That tight end.
Oh, Kyle Pitts out of Florida to the Atlanta Falcons.
I know it's sexy to talk about quarterbacks and everything, but tight ends are so much fun to watch. If they can block, if they can run the routes, if they know what to do.
This kid is 6'6", 247, runs about a 4.4 40.
He's DK Metcalf in the tight end position.
Yeah. Hands like a motherfucker. Can catch anything. Hopefully he doesn't catch mono like the other guy we were talking about. But
if I needed offensive weapons for my team, I would have loved to have, but that's just...
A lot of teams that were in the top 10 or top 15 should have jumped up to get this guy. The only thing is he's playing with a hot and cold Matty Ryan. So we'll see what happens.
They should have been working on it. They grabbed somebody, I think, a quarterback in the later rounds and everything, but there's... Somebody in the later rounds this year is better than who's going to come up in the top rounds next year, though.
I understand because they haven't had a solid tight end there since TG, even when he came over from Kansas City years before.
Greatest tight end ever. It's hard to look for somebody.
It is. Greatest tight end of all time. Greatest tight end of all time.
Cowboys are having the same problem after Jason Witten.
Yeah.
And especially now, it's a tight end league. It's 2-10 tight end offenses for a lot of teams.
You got to have at least one guy out there that's an athlete and one guy that's just, that short yardage gainer, you know what I mean? But if you can get
who can get you that first down when you need.
But if you can get a guy, if you got 2 tight ends, and you got one guy on one side that can easily run a fly route, juke out your best defenders, and that's this guy.
Yeah,
this guy can do all that shit. I mean, watching his highlights, the double moves going over the middle, the fact that he takes on the linebackers with ease. I mean,
he's huge. He plays around with these kids like a man in a boy's
people
world.
think because you're outside backer and you're big that you got, but if this guy's got football like a fucking running back, you're not staying with him. I don't care how big you are, how fast you are. And he's so big and strong, and when he gets onto the outside, what D-back is really stopping him? Your average D-back is what, 5'9", 5'10"?
It's got to be the guys coming up with him.
Yeah.
The guys who know how to play him.
If you watch the highlights, it was never a solo tackle. That's a big, fast guy running down the field, and especially with no disregard for anybody. He's just running over people, hurdling them. But moving on, number 5, Jamar Chase to the Cincinnati Bengals.
It was a wide receiver draft.
He's reunited, that too.
But he is the first wide receiver to go.
And he was
so reunited. It has to say something.
Well, reunited with Joe Burrow, his guy who he played with at LSU last year.
That's why they grabbed. It's a security blanket.
Oh yeah.
Let's get him. It was gonna be
the chemistry's there.
AJ Green's since gone to the Arizona Cardinals. Yep. So who does he have to play with now?
He's got Taj Boyd. He's got Boyd there. And,
he has another wide receiver that just came up too. Is doing really well. 2 or 3 year.
I can't think of his name.
It's horrible. It's unfortunate because he's for the Bengals and we don't know him.
Like I said, well, they also got rid of a longtime veteran, Giovanni Bernard, too, who's in Tampa Bay, but we'll get there. But Cincinnati, who's a team in my division, who's a rival division of the Steelers, I see this as a good pick. I'm not, it's going to be a tough time once they really get that chemistry going back from the LSU days. We're going to see a show there, I think, with Chase and Burrow. So God help whoever's in that division playing defense when they start cooking. At number 6, we have Jalen Waddle, who was out of Alabama, one of the wide receivers that played with Mac Jones and Tua last year. Jalen Waddle was also one of those guys that was projected to be probably a top 3, like number 1 and number 2 pick before he got hurt. He played in that national championship game a little hurt.
Injuries make it very risky to touch these toys.
But
you don't want it to break on you after spending time and energy and everything.
Exactly. But again, you're seeing another GM saying, okay, chemistry. We just mentioned Jamar Chase playing at LSU with Joe Burrow. So now you have Jalen Waddle, who was at Alabama, playing with Tua Tagovailoa, who was at Alabama. So that right there is GM saying, okay, well, let's stick with what we know. And you got 2 young quarterbacks in their early 20s. And what better way than to have a guy that you threw the ball to for 3 years in college take this journey with you in the big leagues? You know what I mean?
Second only to having an offensive line to keep you on your feet.
Exactly. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Number 7, Penei Sewell, out of Oregon, left tackle. The kid...
It's the Lions. The Lions need help in a lot of different spots. Their new coach was definitely going to make a move for offensive or defensive line, and he took the best offensive lineman in the draft.
I remember I was talking to you about this kid before the draft. I said, this kid just barrels down the field.
He makes holes.
Yeah.
He makes holes, and he keeps up with the running backs and all this, and it just doesn't make sense.
Like, they were showing him, like, you know how hard it is as a tackle to fucking go out and block a wide receiver screen?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know how much ground you got to cover in a little bit of the time, and he's just listen, man. They got a good guy there blocking for Jared Goff in the meantime while they revamp that team, but I think he's going to be a solid lineman for years to come. It seemed like I think he had the best reaction as far as the draft parties. His family was fucking losing it, and you always love to see that. So
he was
that makes you want to root for him even harder when you see the family really in tune with the kid's accomplishments.
Absolutely.
At number 8, J.C. Horn, the kid of Joe Horn.
Start of the defensive trend.
If you guys remember Joe Horn, he was the guy that pulled the cell phone out of the goalpost years ago and was calling whoever to let them know he scored a touchdown. It was pimp shit for its time, but he got fined about $55,000, I think.
Nowadays, it's good to go, though, but only because somebody like him pushed the envelope. He paid the money so the guys get to celebrate and get into a fake canoe together and row down the end zone. It's fucking great.
And I think that this helps out Carolina with... They haven't still bounced back on the defensive side of the ball since losing Kuechly to retirement. When you lose a guy like that, it does take the defense some odd years to find that I guess you could say that identity.
It feels like they haven't had an identity since they lost.
Since he retired. Well, not only that, but since Rivera leaving and then Kuechly retired.
It was multiple things all at once.
Yeah.
It was Rivera leaving, retiring.
Cam Newton leaves,
hurt and has to be cut.
Right.
Now you have McCaffrey. Oh, McCaffrey's going to do good. He gets hurt.
Right.
Like every time they took one step forward, they took 3 steps back.
Exactly.
And it hasn't...
Thomas Davis getting traded because he's too old. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
And it's a tough division now. You can't fuck around in that division.
Yeah. At number 9 was the guy that you wanted, and I said he would have, because Jerry Jones is a Bama boy, and he loves drafting Bama boys. Especially SEC players. And Patrick Surtain II, who, if you remember his father, another kid back-to-back. That's weird. We didn't catch that during the draft. 2 kids drafted back-to-back, and their fathers are both in the NFL.
It's been talked about enough and everything in the media that I just didn't even...
Yeah, I didn't get the chance to look at it. But
they
Patrick
were talking
Surtain,
about all their pedigree and this, that, and the other thing. We're old enough now to where we're seeing dudes that it's like, oh, yeah, these guys' father, and talking about pedigree of a player.
If you followed football heavily in the early 2000s, mid-2000s, you knew who Patrick Surtain was out of Miami. Just a shutdown corner. The guy he was one of those underrated corners that people didn't talk about, but deflections upon deflections. And they like to say that genetics is passed down to generations.
It's not just genetics, it's the work ethic. It's the dude looks just like his dad.
His size also, he's a little taller than his daddy, too, because this kid's 6'2", 208.
He just makes plays.
Yeah, he's just physical.
It's just all effort.
So the Broncos got one, man.
Yeah.
I think even though Elway's not in charge anymore, thank God, I know a lot of fans are happy about that.
Well, he's too old, and
CTE
you don't want to see the face go away, but he can't be making
kicking
decisions.
his ass.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's whooping his ass.
Next in the draft got a little personal for me. At first, it got heated and upsetting because the Eagles somehow convinced the Joneses to trade their pick with them just by giving them a 3rd-round pick so that they were able to reunite Devonta Smith with his quarterback from college, Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, yeah.
Jalen Hurts
another reunite.
Yeah,
just reunions, just reunions all over the place.
Theme of the fucking if my dude came out last year, then hey, I need to be with him this year.
Yeah.
Like this is what we're doing.
So this is the Heisman winner, Devonta Smith. He was listed at 6'1", about 170 at the night of the draft. They call him the Slim Reaper. He was also compared to another Philly sports icon, Allen Iverson, for body type and frame. I know this is all irrelevant, but the kid, when you see him walking around, he looks like this skinny young kid. You wouldn't think that he was playing football, and then you see him get on the field, and he starts running routes and carving guys up.
Yeah,
and his really size doesn't matter at all.
The pads make him look like a regular-sized dude.
Yeah, like he's a
tiny guy.
Yeah, he's a tiny guy, but the guy can move. He's quick, good hands. His route running, especially, like I told Sean, it's going to be you guys are going to have a problem on your hands for a few years to come. Once Hurts and Devonta Smith starts getting that chemistry flowing.
Yeah.
Cowboys, Giants, Redskins, it's going to be a tough one.
It's hence why I got upset about it. And I know we were only do the 10, but I think that because 11 and 12 were so...
Oh, yeah, we're going to cover the next 2.
The Giants were supposed to be the 11th pick, but then the Bears pretty much unloaded and offered them everything, including...
It was like 5 picks?
And the kitchen sink and a ham sandwich and... I'm not sure what the end of it was, but it was far too much.
So the Bears decided to, because a couple years ago they drafted a man by the name of Mitchell Trash. Is it Trash or
Trash?
Trash Mitchell Trash Bishke.
Yeah, old Trash.
Nobody ever heard of this motherfucker out of University of North Carolina playing quarterback. Just so you guys know, in that draft, when Mitchell Trubisky went 2nd overall, in that draft was also Deshaun Watson. And 2 MVPs, one by the name of Lamar Jackson and the other of Patrick Mahomes. I call him Patty.
His mama gets mad about it.
It's all right. But they chose Mitchell Trash Biscuits, whatever you want to fucking call him.
It's
over these 3 dudes.
You know what you call him? You call him the 2nd-string quarterback in Buffalo.
Yeah. There you go.
That's where he's sitting now, and that's
go
where
figure,
he's playing.
motherfucker.
But they made a big move, and they put all their...
And they went and got Justin Fields.
Ultra biscuits in that basket, and...
Mind you, I'm going to be a little problematic. Chicago, there was 3 black quarterbacks, man.
Wow.
Anywho, they decided to rectify that and draft Justin Fields out of Ohio State, who I believe was the 2nd-best quarterback in the draft. Many analysts said the same thing.
A lot of people said it.
Sean even said it.
A year ago, it was everything was fine.
He was great, but people looked at his transfer from Georgia to Ohio State
and not enough film.
Yeah, not enough film. They believe
is bullshit.
But you look at his turnover ratio compared to his touchdowns, and you see just how well he conducts down the field and how well he's playing. I believe that the Bears are going to be just all right with this kid at quarterback. They said that they're going to let Dalton get out there and go, but we all know how that goes. They did it with Romo in Dallas, and look what happened.
Yeah, but look, like I said before, the whole quarterback thing, we haven't touched on it yet. We're going to talk about it real quick. The Aaron Rodgers thing, that's another division that's wide open.
Yeah, and
new quarterback in Detroit, new quarterback in Chicago,
we're
new quarterback, like everywhere.
We're going to get to Rodgers real soon. So,
but what the last thing said was the Cowboys finally got their pick, and they went to just another weird, odd thing happening in this draft. How you have inside linebacker Sean Lee from Penn State playing in the league for 11 years retires.
Well, he was actually moved to outside because of injuries.
Because of injuries and everything. But now we go and draft his replacement without skipping a beat, Micah Parsons.
Who's probably going to play outside because of how fast he is.
I disagree. You said before that the most impactful coming out and getting drafted and everything, but I think it was Micah Parsons. He damn near broke Goodell in half. Like, he was ready. He was so happy to be
out there. Dude.
Dude wanted to be in blue and white for the rest of his life. That's all he's been saying.
Micah Parsons out of Penn State.
Micah, I'm going to say it the wrong way.
It's all right. We can say Micah, it's okay. I'm going to say Micah because I think it's how you pronounce it, but it's all good.
It's sexy.
But Micah Parsons was one of those guys that I consider a steal out of the draft. I mean, 6'3", 246, and you're running about just under a 4.4. I mean, good God. I mean, you see the dude running and just how he gets to the ball. I told Sean, I said, this is a pick that you're going to appreciate for years to come.
And I was still upset about the Surtain move and everything, and that's what I wanted. And this was definitely a better...
Oh, you definitely want Patrick Surtain over Micah Parsons in this situation because of the...
Parsons with the third-round pick as well, it made it a little sweeter and a little bit easier to swallow that pill.
And finally, one more pick I want to touch on here, just real quick before we continue on to Aaron Rodgers and all our other...
Shenanigans,
I should say. Mac Jones, number 15 to the New England Patriots. Is he the successor? Bill Belichick has already came out and said that they're going with Cam Newton. Cam's their starter. Until they feel that Cam can't win any more games or they need to switch it up. Jared Stidham and Mac Jones will be fighting it out for that backup quarterback position. So, does Mac Jones get his shine this year because Cam decides to go out and play another shitty season, even though he's probably going to get another like 10 or 12, 14 rushing touchdowns. But you can't win games with just 8 passing touchdowns a season as a quarterback. So
everybody's defending Cam.
So I'm not defending Cam in the slightest.
Which I understand, because going to a new team, learning the playbook, getting sick, coming back from COVID. Like, there was a lot that just wasn't going in his favor.
Yeah. I think we got a little static here. But yeah.
Fuck it, I fixed it. But prove otherwise.
That is called a ground fault.
Oh. I knew that because I fixed it.
But back to the excuses that people make with Cam Newton. We apologize again, ladies and gentlemen. A little technical difference.
He's another guy everybody likes. They want to see him do well.
I want to see him do well too, but also
we want to see it's the pro wrestling aspect. It's why we have Turf-n-Turnbuckles. It's the things that we liked about both of them.
But we also know how loyal Belichick can be, because he say one thing 1 minute and then the next minute he's
And mobile quarterbacks just don't last as long in this league as others. And
that's changing. I have to disagree with you there, because most of the quarterbacks that are in the league right now can run.
Yeah, but
you need to be mobile in today's game, I think. You look at Joe Burrow, you look at Josh Allen, those guys can get going down the field.
Dak, of course.
Yeah,
come on. Why you got to forget my guy?
Well, I'm just naming other. Well, everybody
he wasn't
knows
too mobile a couple months ago.
Everybody knows Dak can run. But the guys that people don't think they can run, like people look at, what was that guy that came out of, the hell is his name?
Out of where?
I can't think of it now. Quarterback. He was back up for a little bit. You can get going. I can't think of his name at the tip of my tongue. I'll remember after the show when it's
not
over.
Tyrod Taylor.
No. He can run too.
Yeah, but now he's the starter. It looks like he's going to be the starting quarterback for the Texans.
Yeah. Moving on.
Digressing. The biggest news was even before the draft even started.
Yeah, hours before the draft, Aaron Rodgers pretty much told the Packers organization to
fuck you, I'm going to host Jeopardy.
He pretty much said, suck my dick. Even though you guys have had a ton of weapons here for me, great lineman, all-pro wide receiver. His line was good, dude. All-pro receiver, all-pro running back.
Yeah, but they tell him one thing and then they do the opposite.
Listen,
we're going to go get you weapons.
We're
going
to get you a wide receiver. 4 NFC championship games, bro. You lost 4 NFC championship games, bro.
Yeah, but look,
you lost 4 NFC championship games.
But look what they do when they say they're going to do something.
When you had the team, you still weren't doing shit.
And then even this year, even after he got upset.
I'm not about to sit here and make excuses for Aaron Rodgers.
We're going to take some more. We're going to get you more help on the offensive side of the ball. What was the first pick? What was the first pick for the Packers?
But we're also not going to act like
D-back.
But we're also not going to act like this. We haven't seen this coming.
Well, but they say they're not going to trade him, and he's going to start.
They say that.
It looks like that. In my personal opinion,
he says, "I'll retire."
I say it's going to be a Marshawn Lynch.
He's going to retire.
Yeah, he's going to retire for a year and then come back. He has to wait for the year to expire.
Pull a Favre and go to Minnesota.
Fuck that. You know where I think he'd go?
I said he'd be really cool in Tennessee.
Well, I mean, you see the rumors about the whole Denver thing, right? Denver was going to trade. Look, Denver was going to...
No, I've seen it.
Denver should have got a quarterback, and we just talked about Surtain taking somebody on the defensive side of the ball.
But see,
because who's their quarterback in Denver?
Well, it's between two guys now. It's Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock.
Boo. Either way, it doesn't make a difference.
Oh no,
because if they didn't take a quarterback, at least to work on,
but you got to give up Von Miller for that.
They were just talking to the Packers hours before. It was reported they were just talking to the Packers.
You got to give up Von Miller and somebody else for that.
I'm not saying it wouldn't have to be something big like that, but to take, they would obviously.
Packers fans would take Von Miller in a heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right now, he's only 31.
But he also said Aaron Rodgers says he wants to go play somewhere warm like California where he played.
He says that. Cool, retire, motherfucker, and come back. But they're not sending you to where you want to go.
We're just talking about it. Marshawn Lynch, him and Marshawn Lynch went to college together. Right. Who do you think he fucks with? Who's telling him what to do?
Oh yeah,
go home for a year.
Yeah,
chill.
You got money.
You go hang out with all these beautiful gamer bitches you keep dating and everything like that.
He's engaged
now.
Go
host Jeopardy.
He's engaged now.
Yeah, we'll see.
Shailene Woodley.
He's like Cena. He gets tired of the women real quick.
He does. But was Danica Patrick really, exciting?
To us.
No.
Yeah, what?
You drive cars around a circle for hours? Get the fuck out of my face.
All right.
Anywho, she ain't had no butt.
She's sitting on it for 5 hours driving in the circle.
Exactly.
What's going to happen
exactly.
to it?
Get you some cake. But moving on from there, because we're not going to sit here and talk about Rodgers too much. Let's get right into the wrestling.
Okay.
Let's get right into it. So, the Forbidden Door continues to open more and more.
It creaks quieter, but from more and more directions.
I'm sorry, turnbuckles. We're going to get into turnbuckles.
What'd you say?
I said wrestling. Yeah, but for the people that want to know, it's turnbuckles.
You don't want to break the ambiance or whatever.
Exactly. So, let's talk about it. Just recently at Impact event Rebellion, we witnessed...
The belt collector.
We witnessed, the collector himself, Kenny Omega, winning the Impact World Heavyweight Championship, the Unified Championship from Rich Swann, who previously unified the belts in his match against Moose.
Which, quick side note, if the fucking thing's unified, you shouldn't be walking around with two belts.
Yeah, where's the one belt?
Unifying means you're combining to one thing.
Yeah,
you're still walking around with two belts for it.
You can't do that.
Kenny, come on.
So the question is, now that Kenny's conquered the AEW belt, he's conquered the Impact belt, who's next? Everybody's saying that he's going to go back to Japan. Me personally, I think Kenny's going to stay on the stateside, maybe go after Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor makes more sense. It definitely won't be NWO because Magnus is a prick.
Yeah. NWA, you mean?
Yeah, sorry. NWO. Oh, sorry.
Hogan versus Omega. Double or nothing.
And of course, New Japan, he just became world champion. They're not going to have him.
They're not going to have him come back and win the belt. Yeah,
that's not going to happen.
Speaking of New Japan,
I would love to see.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome if Kenny went back and did it.
But see, Ospreay.
But see, come on. They're saying now that because people are saying this online. Oh, American Kenny is horrible. Japanese Kenny, New Japan Kenny's way better.
That's just people who think they're fucking cool because I knew this because I knew this before other people knew it.
Yeah.
I was watching this before you were. My version was cooler.
Did you watch the match with him and Swan? The highlights?
No. Because they haven't really been easy to get your hands on because they're still trying to sell the pay-per-view.
The full match is on YouTube.
Oh, it is?
A guy put it on. Yeah, I'll send you the link. Okay. Incredible match.
All right.
Incredible.
Rich Swann is an incredible wrestler.
Oh, yeah. But
there's a reason he had the strap on him.
But he...
But if they're going to combine these companies and they're not going to do an invasion angle, then they need to figure out something to get shit going.
Well, that's why I'm like...
Leading to the next thing we're talking about.
I didn't know what was going on, and I seen the post yesterday for...
Phantasmal.
Well, not only that, we'll get into that, but John Moxley defending the IWGP United States belt against Yugi Nagata.
I think he drops it.
I think so too, but how does he drop it? You think interference with Omega and them?
I think this week with the match that they forced him into with Nakazawa versus Moxley and Kingston, I think whatever happens, the fallout from that will be them fucking Moxley out of losing the belt.
Yeah.
Or interfering in a way where he almost does, and then maybe Kenny challenges him for that belt. Yet another belt to collect.
Kenny was the inaugural U.S. champ, too.
There's storyline there. Yeah. There's storyline there. But who cares? It's all fun. As far as a wrestling fan and everything, I'm enjoying everything they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't.
The storyline's real good. How about this past Wednesday? We were also very surprised when we said that's how you book it. Brian Cage versus Hangman Page. Incredible match. And me and Sean were shocked at the booking in the beginning.
Absolutely.
But when I sat back and I thought about it,
like poor Cage is going to get dropped again.
I told Sean, I said, nah, they booked that shit the right way.
They did it perfect.
Perfect.
A little bit of interference in the beginning.
Yeah.
Have it so that Page is not 100%, and then have him lose the match clean. Quote, unquote, clean.
Mm.
That's great.
Yeah.
The booking is amazing lately.
He needed that dub. And I think that because he was the number one contender guy, the top-ranked guy behind Omega, I think that definitely changes the outline of the whole rankings now, because that's got to bump Cage up.
They got to work with the ranking stuff. Again, jumping off topic a little bit, the ranking thing, it works with the storyline and everything.
Yeah,
and this, that, and the
that's what I'm saying. How do you input this?
Yeah, you need to.
You gotta, because you can't put him at the 2 spot now, because that's too sudden. So is it like the 3 spot? You let him slide at number 3.
I don't know.
Also, another storyline we were talking about in regards to AEW was El Phantasmo.
Yes.
Who people aren't familiar with from New Japan, Bullet Club member, Headbang Club. Shout outs to the guy. He's an incredible wrestler. Was a Super J Cup finalist not too long ago for New Japan. So do you see now, like I was stating earlier, with this Forbidden Door being open more and more, are we going to start seeing more New Japan guys into the Impact surface? Are they gonna surface more in Impact now?
It may not just be New Japan guys. It may be people that are somehow connected to Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
And that they become his henchmen.
Yeah, because think about it.
Stuff like
El
that.
Phantasmo showing up out of nowhere, but he's Bullet Club still. But Kenny's and them are still claiming elite.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that they're just gonna Bullet Club it all out across all the brands. What if that's just a takeover? Like Ring of Honor has a Bullet Club. Fucking Impact has their version of Bullet Club.
Awesome.
AEW inherits a Bullet Club.
They need to tighten it up, though.
Yeah.
Everything that we're saying sounds amazing, and if it's a slow lead into it, like they talk about, that everything's long-term booking. We do all this. We want the fans to appreciate what we're doing, which we have. We watched from day one and everything. This angle with Omega and fucking Page has been going for almost 2 years straight.
Yeah.
And when he finally wins the belt from Omega, which is most likely what's going to happen, it's going to be the culmination of probably at that point a 3-year storyline.
Yeah.
That's long-term booking, man.
Yeah, because
that's what we want.
Because you remember growing up for 2.5 years straight, it was Cena versus Orton every pay-per-view.
Every other pay-per-view. And ain't nobody losing.
I hear voices in my... every other... You're like, oh, here we go. Another fucking pay-per-view. Cena versus Orton. Oh, Hell in a Cell. Shocker. Cena versus Orton. Street fight. Oh, shit. Cena versus Orton.
I try and
submission match.
I try and turn it on every once in a while.
Shit.
We were talking AEW and Forbidden Door and everything like that, but I can't even. WWE without the fans is horrible.
Well, did you see the new? And I sent you the link as far as the new developments forming as far as MLW partnering with WWE, and I found out some.
First, it was going to be AEW, and then WWE jumped in the mix. Like they want to get their hands on it first.
Well, here's what happened. So you know how, real quick before we head out of here, so you know how WWE has evolved, right?
Of course.
And they have that whole thing. That's how they're going to do it, to where the guys who are in NXT, who aren't getting a lot of TV shine, and the guys who aren't getting a lot of shine on SmackDown and all that, are going to start getting involved in storylines with MLW, since they have a new TV deal, and that's how they're going to open their own little Forbidden Door. But it makes sense because the heavyweight champion in MLW is who? Jacob Fatu. And where's the Fatu family really associated with? WWE. So come on, man. There's a lot of writing on the wall there, but
yo, Savio Vega still wrestling.
Yeah, Savio, almost 60 years old.
I can't.
He was the former Caribbean champion.
Savio Vega is still wrestling in MLW. Watch that shit for real. I thought it was his son.
But before we get out of here, like I said, we want to thank our producers, Matt Wikopolsky, AJ Bunk, and my man T.Y. Shout outs to him. Make sure you guys get that Big Cup new single out. What's that new one? Hurtin'? Hurtin'. That's that new one out right now. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, Turf-n-Turnbuckles is back. and we're excited. New season, NFL coming up ahead. I'm excited.
We have a lot more coming before then. Don't worry.
Don't worry. There's going to be plenty of episodes, a lot of updates and stuff like that. Don't forget to follow us on the Facebook page at Turf-n-Turnbuckles. I believe we have an Instagram, right? If not, we'll get one.
No, we got to get one.
We'll get one. But all the social media information coming real soon from you guys. So without further ado, I'm Duval Branch.
I'm Sean Mulcahy.
We appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Be easy.
Love you.